Hey Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo, are you going to help me design my wedding dress? Yo-Yo, have you ever been married? What was your life like before you came here? Are you just going to give yourself a bath on my video? Rude. Hello everyone, I am Marie of Historical Belle, and today I am going to be talking to you about how I designed my dream wedding dress. So I am one of those girls who has been dreaming of their wedding ever since they were very, 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 very small. But one of the things that I would always do when I was drawing my wedding dresses in nursery was draw them purple. One of my sweet nursery workers growing up would always say, you know, Marie, I think you love purple so much, you're just going to have a purple wedding dress. So then I started drawing purple wedding dresses, but alas, not going to have a purple wedding dress, just purple bridesmaids dresses.
I have decided to have a white wedding dress following in the tradition set by Queen Victoria when she married Prince Albert in 1840. She chose white because she believed it would be the perfect color to highlight the lace that she wanted to showcase. She was not the first bride to ever wear white, but she did popularize it.
So when I got engaged and started to really think about, okay, what is my wedding dress really going to need to look like? This is go time. This is what I've been preparing for my entire life. What is the dress going to look like? And as you can imagine, I have filled a Pinterest board full of options, and I also was starting to think about, okay, but when am I getting married? You know, the date and the climate have a little bit to do with what the dress needs to look like, because there were some dresses that I was like, oh, that'd be beautiful if I was having a summer wedding, or oh, that'd be beautiful if I was having a winter wedding. So first of all, we had to set the date. The date was set primarily because that is when the venue was free, because the pandemic had shifted everyone's weddings back like a good 6 months to a year, and therefore we ended up with a February date. So as you are watching this video, you will realize that my wedding is only a few weeks away. But never fear, I'm making this video a few weeks before that. So the wedding dress already is not quite in existence yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. You'll see videos about the mock-up process and the actual making of the dress later. Now we're just going to be talking about the design. How did I come up with the design? So February, winter wedding, right? Beautiful. I didn't think I would ever get married in February. That's not one of the traditional times to get married. Usually it's like a June summer event, but I liked the idea of a winter wedding because it let me have sleeves on my wedding dress. I'm a big fan of sleeves on wedding dresses, and as I was looking at okay, what are my favorite wedding dresses of all time? Let's go for some historical inspiration. I love Kate Middleton's dress so much.
Kate Middleton's wedding dress was designed by Sarah Burton, who's the creative director for Alexander McQueen, for her wedding to Prince William in 2011. The bodice was inspired by a late Victorian style corset. I love the long sleeves, the lace, and the full silhouette of this dress. Her wedding was over a decade ago now, but the dress is just timeless. The dress is both traditional and modern, all in one package. And of course, she accessorized beautifully. There's also more than meets the eye to this dress, as you can see in this close-up photo here that perhaps you didn't get to see in some of the other videos, like the detailing on the skirt.
Also really love Grace Kelly's wedding dress.
Grace Kelly's wedding dress was designed by the Academy Award-winning costume designer Helen Rose for her 1956 wedding to Prince Rainier III of Monaco. The dress was designed to fit with the bride's fairy tale princess image while sticking with her understated, elegant, and classic style. The 1950s are one of my favorite decades for fashion. The style is just so elegant and feminine and timeless. Kate Middleton's dress design cites Grace Kelly's dress as a source of inspiration. Just look at that full satin skirt, the long train, lace bodice with a high neck, and long lace sleeves. There are many similarities.
And I was looking at a lot of royalties wedding dresses.
So I began thinking, what makes a wedding dress royal? Therefore, I started looking at royal wedding dresses from the past 100 years or so, trying to see if there were any patterns in the designs or stylings for, well, royalty. Because if I want to look like a princess or a queen on my wedding day, I need to know if there is something that is quintessentially, quote-unquote, royal. A lot of the dresses I ended up looking at were from the British royal family, but then I also started to venture outside of Britain and to look at other wedding dresses from other royal families around the world. And I found all of these photos to be a treasure trove of inspiration as I looked at the different types of fabric and the different styles and the different textures that were used and the different ways that they wore tiaras and their veils or what kind of flowers they chose. And there were so many different unique things about each dress. None were the same. But I did note one similarity. Well, actually a couple similarities, but let us hold off on that for a moment because I need to tell you about this beautiful vintage wedding dress that I did not know existed until I went down this research rabbit hole. This is Jane McNeil, and her wedding took place on the 10th of January, 1953 at St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh, Scotland, where she married the Duke and became Duchess of Buccleuch. It was the society event of the year, and the new Queen Elizabeth II, along with the rest of the British royal family, was in attendance, and I think her dress is just a dream.
One of the things that was kind of consistent across the board for the most part was sleeves. And I began to think that sleeves equaled like a very royal wedding dress. It made it look royal because I wanted to look like a princess on my wedding day, but I don't want to look like a little girl princess, like I don't know how to, like a floofy cupcake. I don't want to look like a floofy cupcake. If you want to look like a floofy cupcake, you do that. I just didn't want to look like a floofy cupcake. So I started to think, okay, what makes something elegant and royal without going like the sparkly cupcake route? And then I just sleeves happened. And I decided sleeves were a good look. I like myself in sleeves. I think they're fun. Therefore, I wanted my wedding dress to have sleeves. Also, lace. I love lace. I think lace is beautiful. So I wanted my dress to have sleeves. I wanted to have lace, but I also really like satin. I realized as I was looking at different dresses, I didn't like tulle, like the big tulle skirts. I really thought I wanted a tulle skirt for a long time. And then I realized that I didn't. Because at one point I tried on a tulle dress and I immediately just like started spinning. And then I realized, well, someone made a comment, I don't remember which one of my friends, but it was basically like, oh, it's like you're back in your ballet days, like the long tulle skirt. I was like, that's why I like it. And that's why I immediately like started spinning when I had the tulle skirt on, because I'm so used to that being like ballet clothes, like ballet dancing. And you know, that would be your recital costume, is almost always having a tulle skirt, whether that be stiff tulle or flowy tulle. It was going to be tulle. And therefore I realized, maybe not tulle. Maybe that's too much like ballerina days, which are, I still love to dance, but I don't take ballet classes anymore. I'm not in a company or anything. Therefore, I kind of settled the idea of lace and satin. So I really liked this idea of having a lace overlay over satin, which also looks very much like Grace Kelly and Kate Middleton's dresses. And if you've seen like their dresses, which you will because I'm having overlays right now. So when you look at Kate Middleton's dress and Grace Kelly's dress, which you can definitely tell Kate Middleton's designers looked at Grace Kelly's dress. They're beautiful and they all have like this lace bodice overlay with a satin finished skirt, but they of course are different. They have some different subtleties, different ways that the skirt's done, different necklines, but the same general idea of a satin underdress lace overlay, and then some fun things happening in the back with the trains. So that was really my starting points, was royalty from just across Europe and looking at their dresses, or looking at even American royalty. Meghan Markle's veil is my absolute favorite veil of all time. I was fortunate enough to get to go see it when I visited Edinburgh, and oh my gosh, I just could stand there and stare at the embroidery forever.
Her veil was 16 feet in length, and it was embroidered specifically with the signature flowers from all of the countries in the British Commonwealth. I love the way that this veil draped and interacted with her dress. The dress was so simple and elegant that it really let the veil shine, which was, I think, really the piece de resistance of her wedding day ensemble. And it just was angelic.
Which made me really want to like embroider my veil, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have time. But then I also have to remind myself, right? That's royalty with a royal budget. And also like a million people to help make that veil, to make that dress. And I am me, not just me. And I have wonderful family and friends who will help, but that doesn't mean that they all know how to work an embroidery machine or a sewing machine, really. Some do, of course, but not everyone. And I want to also be respectful of other people's time. So really, it's me doing pretty much most of that. So, maybe not. But I'm going to take inspiration from these different things, from these different dresses. So I've done a lot of different sketches about what I think I want for a dress, but here is the final sketch, which I will walk you through now.
Please keep in mind as you watch this that I am not an artiste. I do not consider myself to be good in the drawing arts, or the painting arts for that matter. I think you can understand what I'm trying to convey through the drawing, but it is not going to be hung in a museum by any means. This is how I learned how to draw in my costume design class that I took in college. Well, one of them. And basically it's called like the 9 heads method, I guess, is the word for it. 9 heads method, where you draw like 9 circles about the size of the head that you want, and then that's how you can figure out how to do the right body proportions. So as you've probably guessed, my dress is going to be heavily influenced by Kate Middleton and Grace Kelly. You can see I want a full, but not ball gown. It's more like a full A-line skirt. I want to have a lace overlay over what basically is, I would consider, a Victorian style corset bodice. And I want a deep V. I don't want the lace to come up onto my neck though. That is different from both Kate Middleton and Grace Kelly. I do not like having things touch my neck. It makes me uncomfortable. So it'll be near my neck, but not on it. I also want to have little points to my sleeves. I don't know if Kate Middleton had those. I don't think she did. I know Grace Kelly didn't. She had it come down onto her hand, but she didn't have little points. But I want little points. I also want to have some type of belt. Grace Kelly had a giant, I guess what you can consider belt. Kate Middleton did not have a belt. She had a very nice long bodice. But I want some type of belt, small belt, thin belt, to accentuate my waist. My granny, who does beading, has offered to make me a special necklace for my special day, and we've talked a little bit about the design, and we've decided to use pearls and Swarovski crystals. I'm also definitely going to wear a tiara on my wedding day. I had a whole video where I unboxed different tiaras that I got and decided on which one I wanted to have for my wedding day. And then, of course, to complete the look, I want to have a veil. And I want to have a nice long veil. I want the veil to be longer than my train. I want to have a train, but not a super long train. I love having a blusher that comes down over the face, but I don't like it when it's 2 separate parts, where it's like 2 separate veils, because there's a gap on the sides. I hate that. I don't know why, but I hate it. So I want to have one giant piece of tulle to like envelop me.
So some of the designs and details actually came about while I was making the mock-up. So this video is occurring post mock-up, but before I have actually made the dress itself, so I'm still not exactly sure what it's going to turn out and look like. But some of the ideas that I incorporated into that sketch came through the mock-up phase, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about sewing or making a mock-up, is that you get to have this idea about, you know, it doesn't have to look exactly like the pattern, exactly how you set out thinking it's going to look. Like, you can change it along in the process. As you make progress on the dress, you can change it and decide that you want to just seam rip a whole thing and redo it, and you can, because the dress and the fabric is malleable. It's one of the beauties of sewing. But that being said, my original sketch looked something more like this, which looks very Kate Middleton. And I realized I didn't want to copy Kate Middleton, like I want to have my own dress, but just have influence from these dresses that I love, that have made, you know, fashion history. Therefore, this being my final sketch, really, I'm very excited about it. And I'm still not exactly sure what it's going to end up looking like once the actual dress is made, but I am very excited about the idea, and I'm sure it will actually change a little bit from this sketch, because that's how I do things. It'll change a little bit from this sketch, and it'll be great. It'll be even more my own that way, and I'm very excited about just putting it on and seeing what it looks like on me. I'm actually kind of scared that I won't like it once I put it on my body, but we'll find out.
I wanted to share a couple other more recent wedding dresses that also cited Grace Kelly as inspiration, and one of those is Princess Diana's niece, Lady Kitty Spencer, who wore this beautiful gown when she married Michael Lewis in the summer of 2021, and Grace Kelly was definitely an inspo to her designers. This is one of the 5 gowns she wore during her wedding celebration, and it was designed by Dolce & Gabbana. This dress also gives me Jane McNeil vibes because it is all lace rather than lace overlay top and satin skirt. Jasmine Tooks, the supermodel, also channeled Grace Kelly to perfection on her wedding day. Just look how dreamy and romantic that is. I love it. Her dress was designed by Zuhair Mirat, and she had this beautiful, enchanted fairy tale wedding, and I just love looking at the photos from it because it's something out of a fairy tale. It just is. And I love her exaggerated, like, Grace Kelly look. It's like Grace Kelly, but then just like bigger, but then also that skirt comes off and it is this beautiful sleek lace dress for her reception so she can party all night.
So this video is coming out several weeks before my wedding. Like I said, I don't really want to put out too much more about what the dress is going to look like, because I want those in attendance to be wowed when I walk through the door, versus like, oh well, I already saw that online, or I already saw parts of it online. So therefore, I am not going to put out anything more really before the wedding happens, or if I do, it'll be just the mock-up video. The mock-up video is going to come next, and I'm not going to talk too much about how I made the dress anymore, like in this video, because, or how I made the mock-up in this video, because you're going to get a whole video about that. So just know that is coming. Wedding season in life is hectic and stressful enough as it is without trying to put out YouTube videos every other week, which I, of course, love doing, but gets pushed a little bit to the back as the wedding draws near. But once the wedding happens, I'm like, what am I going to do with myself? I'll have so much free time, or at least I would like to think so. Well, after I get back from the honeymoon, that is. And then there will be so much wedding content, so many wedding videos that you won't know what to do with them. But hopefully you'll like all of them and subscribe so that you can see all of them, because they are all going to be so much fun and so amazing. And also just such a fun thing for me to get to like relive, you know, the wedding and the preparation once it's all done, and have this kind of time capsule of videos forever. So thank you for watching. hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you're new, that you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you'll be notified of all of the wedding content to come. All right, bye!